Do you guys ever like realize that the only time you actually check your appearance is when you're already filming a video? Anyway, I am a hot mess as usual, but I have a little bit of time to film today. So I thought I would film my weeks 30 and 31 pregnancy update video. The past 2 weeks have gone by really quickly because my toddler is still super sick. I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video, but she had sort of like this really bad chest cold. And whenever she gets a chest or a head cold, she always pukes at night because of the drainage. So we were going through that like 3 weeks ago. And then 2 weeks ago, she got sick again. And we just thought it was a common cold until we noticed she was refusing to eat and she was having pain in her mouth, and we couldn't really figure it out. We were thinking, okay, maybe her 2-year-old molars are finally starting to come in. But I got her to open her mouth like mid last week and saw that they were covered in bumps. And so I Googled it and it looked like strawberry tongue. And it just got worse and worse. So we took her in, we found out she had strep throat. So they gave us antibiotics for that. And then like a day or two later, she started coming down with a scarlet fever rash. And scarlet fever and strep throat are very closely related. It's just like different body parts that are infected by the same bacteria, I think. So like she had both of those things going and we're like, okay, well, she's got antibiotics, so she should be fine. And then she freaking broke out with hand, foot, mouth disease blisters. So this is now the third time in less than a year that my 2-year-old has had hand, foot, mouth disease. And for anyone out there who has children who has been through this before, you know how horrible this virus is. And this is the worst outbreak she's had. She's losing her, because she had it like somewhere like 6 weeks ago, I think. She had it for the second time, and she is now losing her fingernails as a side effect to the second time she had it. So not only are we losing nails, but her diaper area, like it is the worst hand, foot, mouth breakout that I've ever seen her have. I can't even see her skin. It's just pure rash down there and it's horrible. The poor thing. And so like the only time she wears diapers is when she's sleeping. And so of course it's super irritating for her when she's wearing diapers, and so I'm up with her anywhere from 2 to 5 times at night. And it's been that way now for 3 weeks, between the puking and the sore throat and the coughing and now this hand, foot, mouth disease situation. I am not sleeping at all right now, so it's been rough. But anyway, so the past couple weeks have gone by quickly because I have not had time to focus on myself at all. We have just been in survival mode with my baby girl. But anyway, there's really no remarkable symptoms other than I'm tired. You know, I go to bed at like 8 o'clock every night, and I would sleep until probably 8 o'clock the following night if I could. I have a little bit of heartburn. I had a really bad episode of it a couple days ago, like horrible, but it didn't come back after that, thankfully. What else is there? Braxton Hicks, like if I'm super active or super busy, which is pretty much every day, I get really bad Braxton Hicks at night. And sometimes even when I lay down and just try to relax, they still don't actually go away. But part of me can't figure out if I'm experiencing like some of these contractions, because some of them are obviously Braxton Hicks, but sometimes I wonder which of them are like my kid stretching out, because there are times when I don't feel my whole uterus contracting. It's just sort of like isolated toward the lower half of my uterus. So I don't know if Braxton Hicks normally affect the entire uterus or if it can only affect like the bottom part or something. But anyway, I've been having those, but I've been having those forever. Fetal movements have been crazy the past couple weeks. They have definitely picked up, which is a little worrisome to me because I've read in my apps and the books that up until this week, fetal movement should be like increasing or whatever. And then once you get to this, or like maybe they say that it can come and go or whatever, but once you get to like 31 weeks, 31, 32 weeks, your fetal movement patterns should not change. Like they'll change in a sense that you might not feel kicks, you might feel more of like rolling movements because the space is running out. But like the actual frequency of the movements you feel shouldn't change. And I have felt him constantly the past couple weeks. And part of me is like, oh my God, is this what it's going to be like every single day for the rest of this pregnancy? And the other part of me is like, oh my God, what happens if he has a quieter day? Like how, obviously this type of movement can't be sustainable. You know, he can't be moving this much all the time. So I don't know. Now I'm like worried. What if things slow down or something like that, and I'm gonna have to be that person who calls into the hospital all the time. Who knows? One other thing. I've mentioned before that I have had pubic bone pain in the mornings. It's been very minor or mild, and that's pretty much been the case still, except that I find that I can go days now without feeling it at all. And on those days, it seems to be days where the only thing I had done for the past couple days was just take the dogs on our daily hike. So it seems that, and this is probably super obvious, on the days that I'm walking the dogs and going to the gym or just doing a lot of physically active or physically taxing activities throughout the day, the next morning when I wake up, my pubic bone tends to hurt for a few minutes. Whereas if I'm having a more restful stretch of days, I wake up with no pain at all. But I also did notice that on the day I had really bad heartburn, I decided to go to sleep on the couch. Like I just moved to the couch in the middle of the night because I was tossing and turning and I was so uncomfortable. Our bed has one of those really nice memory foam mattress toppers, but our couch is very, very firm. And I brought my pregnancy pillow with me. I didn't change the way I slept, I just changed the surface I slept on. And when I got up for the morning, got up for the day that morning, my pubic bone was the most painful it had ever been. So maybe if you're dealing with some mild to moderate SPD, maybe try sleeping on a softer surface or like a memory foam surface as opposed to a harder surface. Maybe that will help. Maybe that's common knowledge and I just didn't know it. But anyway, no more sleeping on the couch for me because that really hurt. What else is there? Yeah, it's just sort of been steady as she goes the past 2 weeks. The one major symptom I have been going through the past 2 weeks is I have been massively nesting. I have this huge running list on my iPhone in my notes application where I have been tracking all the things I've wanted to buy or pack for all of my bags, for my breastfeeding needs, for my postpartum needs, anything I could think of that I'd want. I have been keeping like a bunch of lists, and I kind of like tallied up all the things that I haven't purchased or collected yet and just went on a huge spending spree online. I was just shopping everywhere. Amazon Germany, Amazon UK. I was like ordering things from like clothing shops here. And anyway, so I'm gonna do a separate video on my bags because I have spent a lot of time hand picking the things I want to pack and the things I want to have in my postpartum preparation period, whatever. So that's a video I still need to do, but I don't want to film it until all of my items have arrived and I've been able to finish stocking up my like cabinets and stuff. So stay tuned for that because the boxes should be arriving this week or next week. So I'll be filming again soon. But that's been really, really nice because at this point, I think the only things I need to buy are some baby beanies and my breast pump. And I'm waiting to buy my breast pump at the end of November because the warranty, at least for Spectra, the warranty is from like the moment you purchase the product or like the moment you actually like get it. and then I think it goes for a year or something like that. So I don't want to buy it too soon and just miss out on several months of warranty. So those are the only two things I have left to purchase, I think. But the bags that I've packed are my hospital bag, my husband's hospital bag, our baby / my immediate postpartum recovery bag, our media bag, which is just gonna have like LED candles and like portable speaker and some charging cables and stuff, and my roadside emergency labor and delivery kit. And that'll be a fun one to add to my my next video, because I wasn't going to have an emergency unassisted birthing kit as part of my like pregnancy preparation, but it all suddenly dawned on me that it's like a 45 to 60 minute drive for us to get from our house to the hospital. But that's in perfect weather. We have to take a ton of winding gravel roads, country roads, to get to the main streets that lead to the hospital. And this baby is due in the dead of winter. So if there is any ice on the road, which there's gonna be, or if there's any snow, or God forbid we are in the middle of a blizzard when I go into labor, it could take us 2 hours to get to the hospital. And I realized that I need to be prepared. I need to make sure we have everything we need, because even if there was an emergency and we did end up giving birth alongside the road, even just calling Swedish 911 to get the paramedics out here, that could take forever because of road conditions. So I'm realizing I need to be very, very, very prepared for all outcomes. So I'll do another video on that stuff later. But that's it for symptoms. As far as weight gain, I have not gained almost any weight the past 2 weeks. When I weighed myself at 30 plus 0, I had gained 0.1 kilograms. And when I weighed myself yesterday at 31 plus 0, I had gained 0.2 kilograms. So combined over the past 14 days, I gained 0.3 kilograms, which is a very little amount of weight compared to all of my other weekly weight gains. I was averaging anywhere from 0.4 to 0.6 kilos per week. So like in 2 weeks, I gained half the amount of weight that I have gained in like 1 week previously. So I don't know what that's all about, but I just assume that maybe baby is not going through a growth spurt right now, and maybe I'll like gain a full kilo this week, who knows. But my workouts haven't changed. I still walk the dogs for like 5 to 6 kilometers most days of the week. And I've been doing at-home workouts here. Like today I actually went out into our backyard, and for 2.5 hours I raked all the leaves on our property, which is a huge workout. If you've never done that before, it is a good back and chest workout. So I did that, and then I have like these weights circuits that I now do inside the house just using my body weight. I do lunges, squats, incline push-ups just off our kitchen counter. And then I have a dumbbell, so I'll do single arm dumbbell curls. I do tricep extensions. I do shoulder flies with these dumbbells that I have, and some resistance bands. I also have resistance bands that I use. And that's it. It's just like a basic circuit, just kind of like to get my muscles moving and stuff. And I do that like, you know, every other day. I can't do it every day, especially I can't do the lunges every day because those do affect my pubic bone the next day. So I found that they are an incriminating exercise to do with SPD. But that is it for my workouts, my weight gain, my symptoms, what's going on. Oh, okay, so just a little flash forward now. So my next video, I'm going to film next week, probably sometime in the middle of the week. And the reason being, there is going to be a lot going on next week. I have my 32-week scan on Monday of next week. So that's like 5 or 6 days from now. And that scan is going to tell me the status of my placenta. And it's a really interesting thing to be staring down the barrel of this scan, because you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. Back when I was 16 weeks, I had a very minor bleeding incident, went into the hospital, found out that 2 centimeters of my placenta was covering my cervix. And so they didn't tell me to modify anything. They told me to carry on, just living your life, whatever. And that freaked me out because that's a pretty significant amount of coverage of placenta over your cervix. And so I was stressing about like bleeding and damaging my body back then. And then when I went to my 20-week scan, my anatomy scan, they didn't tell me how much it had moved. All that the ultrasound tech did was confirm that it was low and confirm that I was going to need a follow-up scan, which I had assumed I was going to need anyway, because from 16 weeks to 19 weeks, which was when I had my 20-week scan, was when I was 19 weeks, placenta's not going to move a whole heck of a lot. So I knew it was going to be low-lying. But she told me to not worry and that, you know, everything would resolve itself, and, you know, the odds of me actually having any kind of previa or needing a C-section were low, blah, blah, blah. So at that point, I obsessed about it for a couple more weeks. I tried to schedule a private scan for like 28 weeks, and even the private clinic turned me down and said that it's not worth checking prior to 32 weeks. So I couldn't even pay cash to see, you know. So at that point I decided I'm gonna let it go. I'm just gonna pretend I'm fine. I was asymptomatic. I've been asymptomatic. I haven't had any additional bleeding and stuff. So with that as a very long-winded preface, I have been anxiously waiting for this moment to finally get an idea of where my placenta is and what my odds are of actually being able to deliver naturally at the end of this pregnancy. But now that I'm here, and now that the scan is like less than a week away, I don't even want to go to it. I want to cancel it. I want to reschedule it for when I'm 36 weeks and buy myself another month. I want to buy myself another month of time to live in blissful ignorance and to hopefully give my body just a little bit more time to like have my placenta move. I'm really genuinely terrified to go into this scan and figure out what the actual case is down there, you know, because they're going to be telling me measurements and they're actually going to be telling me like my odds, and I just don't want to know. I don't want to know. I'm really stressing out about it. But anyway, that's what is going on Monday. And then on Tuesday, I have my 32-week appointment with my midwife. So I will probably film on Wednesday of next week so that I can loop together the results of my scan and my midwife appointment. And that's that. So it's going to be like a nerve-wracking week for me, and a video you're not going to want to miss next week because it's all coming down to this moment in time. But I'm super stoked also and psyched up about getting to 32 weeks, because I feel like once you're at 32 weeks, the real countdown begins. Oh, let's show the bump. This is my second baby. It is a boy. You know, he's there. It's still a very high bump. Like I don't know, like I've seen a lot of low bumps lately where women can like put their hand here and it looks like they're flat from here to here, and then all of a sudden they've got a bump that goes like this, like that's way low. But mine just sits way up high. And the movements that I feel are mainly here in this quadrant, but I also feel a lot peppered around here. So I think, and especially with the way I've seen his elbow move, I'm pretty sure that his head is like here, and he's facing diagonally in this way. So he's like facing the back of my hip, so that his backside is here, his butt is here. I think his legs are here and also like deeper inside, and I've got like a hand or an elbow or something right around here, because I feel like a lot of softer, like punchy movements here, and then I feel the more powerful kicking movements up here. And then whenever I feel hiccups, they're always like way low. Like this is the top of my pubic bone, so this is the top, and that's the bottom of it. I feel his hiccups like deep inside there, so I'm assuming that's where his head area is, I guess. But anyway, I will show the bump. I still don't have a linea negra. Like I had mentioned in my last video, this line you see here is actually a shadow of like just a separation of my abs. So that is the side angle in the light, and he is feeling so heavy down here. Like it's a high bump, but I feel all the weight here, especially here on this side, which is where I think his head is resting, like right here. But that is my belly. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Okay.